welcome back to the Escape Pod. Thank you for escaping with us. That's Alex. I'm Andrew.
And as always, with great power comes great Supes 2.0 ability. Sorry, headphone users. We are back. Finally, again, joined by the one and only, the real Supes. You know him. You love him. We can't thank you enough for being here. And real quick, before we get started, this is going to be a lot of DC stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting excited. James Gunn's DCU has started with Creature Commandos. Superman is right around the corner. We're getting really, really excited. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for this episode. But I was telling you a little bit off camera that this episode is a celebration. And we're so grateful for you coming back on. And a lot of people that are watching this don't know how much of a brother, a big brother you have been to me, to this podcast. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done behind the scenes. And so we were actually planning on doing this episode around Christmas.
What? What's happening?
We got you a little something, something.
What?
We were planning on doing this episode around Christmas. So we did get you something. And a lot of people, even though this is a DC episode, a lot of people may now know this, but I've known this for a long time. You are the biggest John Bernthal Punisher fan I know. So I got you this original painting.
Yo! No, that is insane, dude.
So there you go.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Absolutely. I can't thank you enough for everything that you have done for me. Being on this podcast now 3 times, behind the scenes, taking care of me out here, considering we're both from Miami and now in LA for work. I love you so much, buddy.
Oh my God.
That's
dude.
Yours. You're taking that
here,
home.
brother.
I love you, baby. That's from the
Thank
both
you,
of us.
boys.
Of course.
You're the man.
He saw, it was NostalgiaCon, right?
It was in Houston.
It was in
yes.
Houston, yeah. What? And he saw it, he was like, Supes? And I was like, Supes.
Dude, yeah.
So there you go. You'll be able to hang that up and
And you were just posting about John recently, right?
I just rewatched all of Daredevil season 2, and Punisher season 1, gearing up for Born Again, and so I was just reminded of the greatness that is John Bernthal's Punisher. Yeah. Russo, I love this man, and such a great Punisher. And so, dude, this is going somewhere in my setup. What a freaking! This is just a work
so
of
cool.
art, dude.
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
amazing.
detailed. It's so stylized.
His face is so cool.
And they actually at this booth they had a lot of their prints on sale, but not a lot of originals. And I saw that print and I said, "Where's the original?" And they were like, "We've got the original." I was like, "Give me that."
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the one of one. That's the original and a brilliant artist, by the way. There you go, buddy.
Thank you guys.
Love you.
I really,
All right,
really appreciate
enough
that.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Frick Marvel of this episode. Don't pay attention to my shirt.
Pay attention to my shirt.
I got a Catwoman shirt. You're the only one that didn't get the agenda here.
We don't have any.
Do you have a DC? We don't have any
don't
DC
have a
yet.
DC.
We will have for Superman.
Yeah.
And speaking of, just a quick little
I mean,
plug.
I can go put on my Wonder Woman shirt.
You could.
Ooh.
Yeah. While he's going and doing that, just a quick little plug. As of today, we do have 3 new merch items on the merch store. We've got a logo accommodating for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because that just came out. We've got a logo for Invincible, because Invincible Season 3 is around the corner, and Daredevil Born Again's around the corner. So we've got a Daredevil logo as well. So we've got 3 hoodies and then 3 special little items to come with those logos. Those are available now. How you been? You doing okay?
I'm doing great, bro.
Good.
It's been a great just year to look forward to.
Yes,
And I feel
absolutely.
Like, off camera, we've all talked about like just the year 2025 is going to be in terms of like pop culture. And now it's finally here and we're in it.
Yep.
And we're a week away from the Super Bowl, getting our first Fantastic Four trailer.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
James Gunn is getting ready to showcase more footage from Superman.
Yep.
Jurassic World Rebirth is
Yep.
right around the corner with our first trailer. It just feels like everything is finally coming together. Invincible season 3 is about to drop.
And this year, I'm always, every time I thought about this year, I've just been thinking about the superhero stuff because Superman, obviously, and Fantastic Four and Daredevil and all that stuff. But then every time I just take a second and remember that the final Mission Impossible is this year, and I just like start losing my mind again. I'm so excited for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I love seeing that trailer every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time. It's like you see the trailer for all of these different movies and you're like, all right, let's.
And every time that comes on, I lock in.
Yeah.
I'm like,
instant lock in, and man,
he's on a plane again. He's getting that shot where, is it Haley Atwell coming down and like giving him breath underwater, I was like, dude, I want to drown.
Well, in a similar sense to John Bernthal's Punisher, when I see John Bernthal's Punisher, when he walks into that hospital for the very first time and it pans up to his face, you just feel like there's no other man on earth that could play this character other than John Bernthal. I feel the same way when I watch Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And with every Mission Impossible, it's just like seeing him grace that screen feels like a damn privilege.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it feels like, I feel honored to just be watching this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. We're getting on with DC.
Let's do it.
So like I said, this is a DCU episode. Let's just start with what everybody has been wanting us to talk about for months now. We got to talk about the Superman trailer. One of the most watched superhero trailers of all time, which was a tremendous, pleasant surprise, I think, for me. I don't know about y'all. What are some of our favorite moments from the Superman trailer?
I mean, I've only seen this trailer over 100,000 times. I literally bought a 95-inch TV to install in my room to watch this trailer another 1,000 more times.
Excellent.
And a surround sound speaker system.
Of course,
The dedication, yeah.
And for me, it's just that shot of him saving that little girl with the electric guitar swelling in and the John Williams score. That, to me, is the moment of the trailer that is just so electric. But I gotta say, when I first watched the trailer, the moment that brought tears to my eyes was that kid raising that flag.
Yep. And then going, Superman. It was like, he gets it.
Look, I've thought a lot about that moment. That needs to be the opening scene of the movie.
Oh,
Opening
to
up
set
in that
the
war,
stage.
to set the stage, and
Not
the
only
first
of,
time,
set the stage for the movie, set the stage for the DCU.
exactly.
Like, this is
James
about
Gunn has said
heroes.
that like this movie, like you start in the action, like
Correct.
Lex already hates Superman, like Superman has already been established, like, and you're right into it, so that's a possibility.
And it's a great way to just establish the world, a world that's at war, a world where people are hopeless, and in their most hopeless moment, we have a kid with his life on the line in the middle of a war, screaming out to Superman, and then just the thought of like Superman's shadow appearing right over that kid and him saving him with the sunlight in his face
And the music.
Dude, I'm getting chills.
That is how you open that movie.
I'm getting chills, dude. I'm getting chills. Oh my gosh, you're doing a movie event for Superman for sure, right?
1,000%.
Great.
And I'm telling you guys, the stuff we have planned for this event, it's unlike anything we've done or seen before in terms of a fan experience. You know, we always talk about like the Comic-Con Hall H's of the world, all of the different conventions. But in terms of bringing the most passionate fans on the planet together to experience a superhero film that has more writing on it than any other superhero film ever has, this is the way to watch this movie. And I don't want to speak too much on it because the time will come where it's still a long ways away from July, but it's gonna be something damn special.
If you're in Los Angeles, we'll be there for sure. Make sure you're looking at Supes' socials because that, I agree with you, that's gonna be a fucking experience.
What else?
Underrated moment to talk about in the trailer that I don't think enough people are talking about. Because look, my favorite moment, him saving the girl, right? Like we're talking about the flag. I'm agreeing with everything. You know, obviously the awesome shots of the extra character moments. I definitely think
Crypto,
obviously.
Yeah.
I love the Guy Gardner moment. I definitely think he's flipping off the crowd with the right? He's definitely doing something silly like that. I think a lot of the CGI looks good, etc., etc. Underrated moment is the Lex moments we get. Holy shit, he looks incredible. Just the scene of him with the revolver where he spins it. Oh, it's like so evil. Him crying as he looks perfect. And I don't think we've gotten a perfect, because Gene Hackman, he's a good Lex Luthor, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't perfect about, like this Nicholas Hoult portrayal of this character looks perfect. Thank you, Andrew. We'll continue now. I just
didn't even mention him. I thought it was disrespectful.
It looks like they really nailed that character.
1,000%. Honestly, I went to set back in July, and they showed me, a lot of the footage that was in the first trailer, and it was those moments of Lex that made me think he's about to steal this movie. I mean, Nicholas Hoult is already one of the best actors working in Hollywood right now. He's on a generational run in terms of the projects he's been doing.
Yeah.
And now to have an actor of his caliber taking on one of the most menacing villains we've ever seen put to screen that hasn't gotten that same treatment, you know? Lex Luthor should be in the conversation with Joker, Thanos, the best on-screen comic book villains, but we've never had a Lex Luthor in those conversations. After this film, I'm predicting he's going to potentially end up being number 4 on the Mount Rushmore of comic book villain performances behind Heath Ledger's Joker, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, and Josh Brolin's Thanos. That is my prediction for this movie, and from everything we've seen, the odds are in my favor.
It's looking good. It is looking great. So we've kind of been talking some theories. You have a theory on what you think the movie will open. You just gave your theory about how good Nicholas Holt's performance is going to be. Do you have any theories on how this movie's going to go? I've been very vocal that, a lot of people are concerned that there's too many characters. I've been very vocal that my number one theory going into this movie is maybe not Mr. Terrific, but Isabella Merced's Hawk Girl, right? Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, like all these extra characters. I bet you they get a max of 2 scenes.
I agree.
Metamorpho, I don't think any of them are going to actually be in the movie.
Maybe 1 or 2 will tag along for a little bit longer.
Mr. Terrific, I think.
But most of them will be get the Guardians of the Galaxy treatment, our Suicide Squad treatment, where they're in there and he does them right, but they're not on there for much longer.
Exactly. That's my number one theory. Do we have any theories that maybe you haven't mentioned, maybe you've been vocal about on social media? Do you have anything off the top of your head, Andrew?
I don't think so. I mean, we filmed with Kevin, and I don't know when this is coming out, before or after, but he mentioned the Bizarro take, right?
Yes. That Ultraman may be a Bizarro was created. It would make sense that guy is created by Lex.
The question is, you were just talking about how great Nicholas is as Lex Luthor. Do you think, given the fact that some other villains have been confirmed, and Kevin was talking about Bizarro, do you think they're going to take away the limelight from Lex, or is Lex going to be the main guy and they're going to let him shine?
I think they're going to let Lex shine.
I hope. That's what I want.
And honestly, I think it would be so sick for Superman to actually stop Bizarro or Ultraman, whatever he ends up being. I think it would be so sick for Superman to stop him, around towards the end of the second act, and then Lex actually suits up himself in that Kryptonian, or in that kryptonite armor.
Do you think Lex is gonna be the mastermind behind Doomsday or Bizarro creating that or bringing that, and that's his first attack at Superman is using someone else?
For sure. I think Lex is gonna have a lot of the villains we see in this film at their mercy.
Right.
Whether it's the Engineer, which we see in the trailer, the Engineer and Ultraman are working for Lex. But here's a big theory I have. In the trailer, we see Superman kept in a container, and we see Lex obviously with the gun, with the revolver.
Yeah, it looks like the same scene.
Maybe kryptonite bullets in there.
Yeah.
Not Bizarro. Metamorpho is also in one of the chambers next to Superman. One of my theories is that Lex also has Supergirl captive in there too. And that's how we meet Supergirl in this film, because she's one of the prisoners of Lex Luthor. This film, it's already been reported that Supergirl is going to be in this movie. This film will directly lead into Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is her backstory. And so I think Supergirl could potentially be one of the prisoners in Lex's chambers, and him experimenting on her actually leads to him being able to use certain weapons and certain characters against Superman, in a point where he gets Superman up against the ropes. And that's why we see Superman so bloodied in this trailer. I mean, he's really going through it, and more than anything else, this film has done such a great job already showing in the marketing that Lex Luthor isn't just going to be a businessman. He's going to be an actual massive threat, and you're going to be wondering, how the hell is Superman going to stop this dude?
Do you think they'll eventually, in the DCU, do the Lex Luthor president storyline?
I do.
Eventually.
Oh, I want it so bad.
It would be very interesting, but that isn't the storyline that leads into Injustice Superman, right? Is that the same one? No, okay.
Not usually.
But sometimes I feel like
maybe there are times where Injustice Superman and Lex as president are in the same canon.
Yeah, that's what maybe
I'm definitely not the person to ask about this, but it can coexist. But I would be surprised if they ever do Injustice
Superman. I don't want them to.
That's
why I was
in
asking.
The DCU, because it's just so different from what James Gunn has said about it so far.
Yeah, and when it comes to Lex, this is a character I want to continuously see.
Correct.
Bring back comic book villains like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. He dies in Spider-Man 1, but he's also in Spider-Man 2 and in Spider-Man 3. We need more of that.
Yeah. Well, they definitely won't kill Lex.
Yeah,
No, you can't.
They don't need to kill Lex.
I would be surprised if any main character dies in this movie. I don't think any main character is going to die.
No.
You think Pa Kent survives?
No. Pa Kent is going to die.
You think so?
That's like okay, we're getting a new Spider-Man movie and you see Uncle Ben in the trailer. Oh, do you think he's gonna die? No, of course. I think Pa Kent is definitely dead, but I think he's dead when the movie starts, and I think the scene that we get is a flashback.
Really? I see.
You think it's?
I don't want that.
You think they're gonna kill him mid-movie?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you think
I don't want that actually.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
that might be
interesting.
a hot
You want
take.
it mid-movie, and you want it before.
Or not?
I expect it before. I haven't thought about this.
I actually want it at the end of the movie. Because again, we just talked about how the fact that a lot of these characters, the majority of the characters, aren't gonna die because we're gonna see them in other projects. Engineer, we're gonna see her in Authority.
Yep.
Maybe Ultraman, just because he's a Superman clone, but maybe he goes off into space. Pa Kent is definitely the most expendable character in this film, and I just think it's so deeply important that they do his death in such an impactful way where Superman saves everyone, but the one man that raised him is the one man he can't save, even with all of his power.
Do you think it will be a tornado or cancer?
Neither. I bet you it's a heart attack.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta go heart attack route.
You gotta go heart attack. Okay. So you're a big Man of Steel guy, and we've already done this to death, and we'll do our debate, and it'll be something we sell tickets for at some point in the future. But it's a tornado in that movie. Is that not a big deal for you?
It's not a big deal for me because the take is just so different that I respect the vision for that take. When it came to the death of Pa Kent in that movie, it wasn't about Superman learning that he, no matter how much power he has, he can't save everyone.
Can't save everyone, yeah.
It was more so about the things that Pa Kent was trying to teach him and trying to be careful with the way he comes out to the world and really just being sure in the man he wants to be and the type of hero he wants to be before he comes out to the world and reveals his secret. So it was just used in a different way than the way I want it to be used in this new Superman movie.
If we were to compare this movie, you expect this movie to be comparable. Superman, compare it to one already existing superhero movie. If you were to compare it to anything, how you think it'll be, what is that for each of you? For me, I think this movie will be very similar in feel, in tone, maybe in plot a little bit, to Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
I think it's going to be super similar. I think he's going to go through some scenes where he needs to learn lessons. He's maybe being a little bit of an asshole. Not necessarily the same way that Tobey Maguire is early in that movie, but he needs to learn similar lessons, and through experiences in his life, makes the decisions and, becomes the real hero he needs to be.
I think there will be a lot of similarities, given, Spider-Man 1 with Tobey is mostly comic accurate, and it just has this whimsical feel to it that we don't really get in superhero movies anymore. I think James Gunn will be leaning into the comics and the classicness of the character and whimsy and stuff like that. One thing that will be different is obviously it's not an origin movie, so some of the lessons he's learning from his origin in Spider-Man, and that taking up such a large portion of the movie, this will be maybe Spider-Man 2. In the sense that in Spider-Man 2, he's established, but he's still learning lessons. I mean, he's freaking losing his powers or whatever. But it still has that whimsy. So maybe I'd go Spider-Man 2 just because of that.
You're going to go Spider-Man 2. What do you think, man?
I mean, these are all great answers. I think it's definitely going to be very similar to the Raimi films in terms of what they're striving for. And actually, to piggyback off both of your answers, I think one of the biggest elements, if not the biggest element that made those Raimi films special, is that the worlds felt so lived in. We need Joey Diaz back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Joey Diaz was so great in Spider-Man 2, and he has 2 lines of dialogue. But Joey Diaz-esque characters is something we're gonna see in Superman, and I feel like that's been missing in superhero films for the longest time because these characters need to live in a world that feels lived in, where the characters that they're saving don't feel like NPCs. We already see that in the Superman trailer with him saving the little girl, with the little boy calling out to Superman, but more than that, I just feel like Metropolis is going to feel lived in. The people and their relationship to Superman is going to be a massive part of this film. And they are going to be valued just as much as the other heroes. You know, the Daily Planet crew is going to be valued just as much as the other heroes we see in this film. The Jimmy Olsens, the, Cat Grants, Steve Lombards, all of those characters are going to get their shine just as much as Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and this and that. So, going back to your question, I would say maybe the first Captain America movie.
Oh, great pull. Just to be, just to not say Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2. Great
but
pick.
The first Captain America film was just so great at setting the tone with Cap and just really putting it in your face within that first act that this man is the best man ever.
Jumping on the grenade, his conversation with Erskine.
That's such a good comp. Nice pull.
Nice pull.
Good shit. All right. So, there's theories. There's, what movies we have to, to wrap up, if we're talking about Superman, we have to discuss some of the controversies, or as we say on this podcast, controversies.
We've literally never said that.
Never.
Yeah.
We have to comment on how it looks. How it looks has been a big controversy on the internet, especially on Twitter. Snyder fanboys will tell you that it looks awful. Some people will tell you they don't like the wide lens, they don't like the color grading, whatever. How do you boys feel about how Superman looks?
For me, I just love how colorful it looks. I think there are a couple of shots here and there that do look a little bit weird, but for the most part, I just, I love that it actually looks stylized. It doesn't look like a normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill comic book film. It looks unique in the way it's shot, in the way it's color graded. And to me, that is important. That, regardless of the way it looks, it actually has a stylistic approach that separates it from a regular comic book film. Obviously, recently they had that flying clip that came out, which I could see both sides. I could see where people love it, I could see where people hate it. For me, I love it, and to me, the only thing that matters is what's on the screen come July 11th, 2025. Because a lot of people, forget that this film is still 7 months away. And they've had so much time in post-production to continue to just make it better, to clean it up. Dude, they finished filming last July. So by the time the film comes out, they would have had 12 months in post-production to make it look as best as it's going to look. And to me, that's the only thing that matters. So I think anyone judging it from now on, or judging it at this point in time, should just chill. Because there also came a point in time where, I saw someone bring it up on Twitter today, where when we got the first look at the Riddler and the Batman, people were freaking out. And everyone was saying, oh, Reeves doesn't respect the comics. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be the Riddler is just the Zodiac killer. And then the movie came out and Riddler was freaking amazing and everyone loved the movie. So I'm always, let's just wait until it comes out. But also, it's okay to be excited. It's okay to critique what you're seeing as it is. And that's just my take on that whole situation.
Yeah, in terms of how Superman looks, I very much agree with you on most things. Castings, the way things looks, clips, pictures, the suit, when the suit came out, every single time the internet likes to take one thing and freak out about it, I'm like, can y'all just chill the F out and wait? People didn't like when Robert Downey Jr. got cast as Iron Man, and then he was the best thing in the world. Just calm down and wait. So I agree with that. But, we can still discuss it. I'm just not going to catastrophize it. So I can, in terms of coloring, so there's the coloring and then there's the flying clip. So the coloring, I can see what people are saying. I like it, and I like it for one particular reason. Some people said it kind of looked like the CW shows, and I was like, oh, it kind of freaking does. I think it's very saturated and very colorful, and in some scenes it maybe looks a little wonky. But if you're gonna make some mistakes, I'm glad that you're failing that direction. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're leaning towards making it look like that. I'd rather it look a little wonky and you fail in that direction, as opposed to the same day that the trailer came out, on my TikTok, the trailer for Man of Steel, someone posted, and the first 5 seconds of it is a crow in black and white flying over an ocean, and I was like, well, I'm just glad it's not that.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think it looks fine. In terms of the flying, a lot of people were complaining about the CGI and the way it looked. I don't think the color's bad. I don't think the CGI bad. like I said, James Gunn said there was no CGI on his face. The background plate is literally an actual thing they filmed in Norway or whatever. So I don't care about any of that. I just do think the wide angle lens can look a little weird. It does look like Adam Warlock in Guardians 3, and I just wasn't the biggest fan of that. Not because I think the CGI is bad. I just think his head looks a little too freaking big. But again, that's not enough to make me be like, oh, this movie's gonna suck.
Yeah, honestly, if anything, it's just a weird like shot to position in the marketing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like people are gonna, with every new frame we get from this film, people are gonna dissect it like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a hot topic. So I think it's a matter of like them just having to be more selective with the shots they choose.
Yeah.
Because when you see that shot in the film, you're not gonna think twice about it. You're gonna be in the middle of watching a really intense, drawn out flying sequence, and you're not going to think twice about that shot. But when it's like the one new frame of this new TV spot,
we're watching it 100 times. Yeah,
exactly. It's something that's going to be dissected.
I said on the podcast with Kevin, I do like his little backflip thing, his little side flip thing.
Of course, and then he's like, that's sick. I hit that.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it on his face.
He's just doing it for fun. I freaking love that, dude.
Yeah, I like it. Like that one clip is so appealing to me from a story perspective.
It's so fluid.
He's also flying through like this little crevice when he could have gone to the right of it and just completely
whee!
avoided it.
Yeah.
Like he's having so much fun.
Yeah.
And that is more exciting than the way it actually looks.
It reminds me of that amazing sequence in the first Incredibles movie with Dash running on the water, and he's like and he's doing loops through the caves and this and that. And he's just this 8-year-old kid or whatever.
When he first realizes he can walk, and he's like, and he starts laughing.
And then he locks in and everything, and like he's trying to avoid death, but like he's also doing fun stuff. That's what it reminded me of, and that's what I want from a first Superman movie.
Yeah.
Here's the big question, and I think we're all going to agree on this. Will Superman 2025 make $1 billion?
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of films coming out this summer.
Yeah.
A lot of competition. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yep.
Fantastic Four 2 weeks after Superman's release.
Yep.
A lot of competition. But if I had to play it safe, I would say this film is probably going to make around $800 million, which would still be a massive success.
Yeah.
However, I think it all kind of depends on the marketing rollout and the way they continue to build momentum coming up to July. Because, I mean, crypto alone is getting us to 600 mil. Crypto alone is getting us to 600 mil. But yeah, I do think there's a high possibility that this film could hit $1 billion, but it's not going to, it's because of all of the competition that's surrounding it, it's not like a for sure thing.
That's fair.
And the movie also has to be great, because if the movie comes out and it's a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, then that's
People
not
aren't
going to
rewatching it and this and that. Yeah.
It has to be a very rewatchable, great, feel-good experience that people continue to keep going back to.
Yeah, I think there's still just a lot of Superman fans in the world, and a lot of people our age don't think that because everyone our age likes Iron Man and Deadpool and stuff like that. But like our Batman, but there are so many people with the money who are older that still love Superman so much, and that's still their favorite and their classic superhero. So I think they'll come out of the woodworks a little bit. But you do make some good points. I didn't know Fantastic Four was that close to it. I think that'll hurt Fantastic Four more than it'll hurt Superman. Now that I think about it, but
we will see.
Well, actually, I want to bring this up too because a lot of people are talking about Jurassic World Rebirth and how the Jurassic World films are always constantly making $1 billion. They're like automatic successes. When Jurassic World Dominion came out, this little movie called Top Gun Maverick came out relatively around the same time. I think it was like a 2-week time frame that they came out from each other. Jurassic World Dominion still hit $1 billion. But Top Gun Maverick made like $1.6 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And that's because Top Gun Maverick was just genuinely a great movie that people kept on going back to rewatch. So I think
they didn't cannibalize each other at all.
Because they were both very different experiences. And I think Superman is positioned to be in a similar space where this is just a movie that people have been waiting to see. Everyone's been waiting for a great Superman. And that was kind of the sentiment when that trailer dropped. The whole world was just like, holy cow, it feels great to see Superman saving people. It feels great hearing that John Williams theme that a lot of us grew up listening to with Christopher Reeve, which is the version of the character that made us fall in love with the character.
Yeah.
So, all of the ingredients have been set properly, and now the film just needs to deliver, and the marketing needs to continue to build up in a great way instead of playing their hand too early. Because someone brought it up, you know, if Superman, which I don't think this is going to happen, but if they decide to show Superman at CinemaCon, which is like 3 months before the film's release, that could be a bad move. Because then you have all of these great early reactions, but then it's almost like a Flash scenario, which the Flash was shown at CinemaCon. A ton of these great early reactions came out, and then it didn't translate in the box office. Same thing with Transformers 1.
Great point.
Transformers 1 was a great film. You guys saw that like 2 months early. A lot of great early reactions, but it's almost like they pulled the plug too early, so then there wasn't a build-up come opening weekend.
Oh man, I want to time travel. I just want to go. I want to see it now. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see how much it's going to make. Oh, I need it to be July.
It is interesting. You know, we, Andrew and I can't speak for you. Andrew and I, our show is very similar to sports shows. You know this. We are First Take for nerds. We are Undisputed for nerds. That's what we are. It's very interesting because a lot of those shows, it's like, we've got the big game Sunday, he's picking the Rams, I'm picking the Eagles, whatever. Like, and that's how their lives are. It's very prediction based. It's very, this is the narrative that's going to happen around this. Well, we don't have that because it's films, it's movies, it's, you know, superheroes. We're not arguing whether or not Lex Luthor or Superman's going to win the fight in Superman in July, you know? This is the first time where it genuinely feels like we are promoting a big game. Like we are gearing up. It genuinely feels like this is the closest we've been to those sports shows that so inspire our debates, because it really feels like, I'm just interested to see what happens. On top of that, I'm going to say I disagree with you. I think that Superman will make $1 billion. And I think that I agree with a lot of what you said. It depends on the marketing. It depends on this. It depends on that. But the trailer was like the biggest thing ever. The trailer was huge. And the more I think about it, and the more James Gunn is a big name director. And his whole career, he's been making movies of, yeah, sure, in the MCU and in cinema now, the Guardians are big characters. But in the world, in just the zeitgeist of the world, Superman, you could make the argument, is still the mascot for superheroes everywhere. This is the first A-list character that James Gunn's had, and James Gunn has had mostly D-list characters. I think that like his name as a director, helping the Guardians movies, like, I think that there's like multiple audiences that are going to see Superman. I think it's almost a shoo-in for $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident it's gonna hit $1 billion, but at the end of the day, like, you also got to think about DC's track record and the relationship between the general audience and DC. Granted,
he's fighting an uphill battle a little bit.
Exactly, but
if it's good, he's not gonna have that problem at all.
But I also think, in a way, that does hurt it, but it also helps it.
Correct.
Right.
Because this people know what's at stake with this film.
Correct.
The fate of DC, the fate of the genre, is on the shoulders of this movie. We said it the last time we were on this podcast over a year ago.
Yeah.
There has never been a superhero film with more pressure on its shoulders to deliver than Superman. And I think that in itself is the reason people are going to go watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because people know that. That's not like you know how like general audiences back in the day, like they weren't smart enough. People were like, oh, a multiverse movie, would it work? And then Into the Spider-Verse didn't do huge numbers at the box office, but they were like, okay, now we can do No Way Home because we think, and now that Everything Everywhere All at Once won fucking several Oscars, multiverse, everybody can understand a multiverse because general audiences get it now fully. It's kind of like the general audience 15 years ago probably didn't understand that a new Superman movie directed by Zack Snyder was as big of a deal. But now, James Gunn, new Superman, like, I think general audiences know what we were saying over a year ago, that this is like the most pressure on a superhero movie ever.
And one thing that I think will really help it is the fact that it's just titled Superman. Huge.
You think the legacy change was a good change?
Massive change. Because now this... I mean, despite the way this film is going to turn out, it will forever be known as the definitive Superman movie that has that title on its head. You know, it's just Superman. The Batman. Just the Batman.
What do you think, Bubba?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point to think, like, do y'all think the absolute failures, because even in the DCU there were some movies that did really well. Like the first Aquaman did really
$1 billion,
well, right? So do you think there's going to be any people out there? I'm sure there's going to be some. Do you think it'll affect it at all? Do you think there will be enough people out there for it to affect, like, that are just so done superhero fatigue in general, maybe, or specifically with the DC, like we've seen Superman done, we've seen it in this, I don't want to go see some more?
No, because I just think great movies win.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If the movie's bad, we're fucked, by the way.
Well,
if
for sure.
the movie's bad, it's not going to do well. But if the movie's good, did Top Gun Maverick have a huge opening weekend box office? It's just people kept going to see it.
It's like Inside Out and Elemental, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Elemental bombed at the start,
Exactly.
but went on to make money because it was good. Superman may not have, like, Superman's not going to have a $200 million opening weekend. It's like
says who?
I don't think it will.
Well, I think it'll be close.
Oh, really?
I think it'll be
But
around
it won't
that
do
range.
Deadpool. Did Deadpool do like 400? It won't do Deadpool.
I mean, it won't do like Endgame numbers.
Yeah, obviously
No,
not.
but its opening weekend is gonna be.
Yeah,
good.
I think it's gonna be
You
huge.
think?
I think it's gonna be huge.
We'll see.
Look, and this was another thing. Oh my god, I think I just lost my train of thought.
No.
Actually, okay, no, I got it. With some of the biggest films we see in this genre, the films, it's an entire experience and an entire event from the beginning of when the film is announced at inception. James Gunn
cooking. With
James
this.
with
I
no
kind of don't understand what you're
No,
saying.
you'll get it.
look.
You'll get it.
Look, with Spider-Man No Way Home, people were losing their minds when they just revealed the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
this?
When they started filming, it was a big moment that everyone was talking about.
The trailers that we're dissecting, the trailer events. Like, what he's saying is, like, the movie wasn't just an experience in July. It was an experience for the year and a half before that. And I don't know if it's reaching No Way Home level of experience, but it might. But, like, the fact that we're having an entire podcast about one movie and, like, the trailer got that many views, like, it's already an experience. The fact that I'm wanting to time travel just to see what's going to happen, and this is a great point.
And it's been a thing ever since this film was announced, because obviously, there was a ton of backlash of not bringing back Henry Cavill, and so then after that, it's all right, who's playing Superman? And then boom, you announce David Cornswear, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, hell of a cast that where everyone's really excited to see this cast come to life. Then they start filming. James Gunn just posts the logo of the chest. That's a massive moment. The suit reveal.
The suit reveal.
The
Massive
crypto reveal.
By the way, suit reveal, questionable choice. Now that we've seen the suit a lot,
Suit
that's
reveal-
not a good look of the suit.
But still, either way, still an
It was-
experience.
Exactly. It
the
was a
leaks.
moment.
Remember, people were going
the set
to film
photos.
it. Yeah.
The moment that it was announced that James Gunn would be taking over, that was a huge
Yes.
deal. Ever since then.
We did the emergency pod when he
And
did the fandom reveal.
And then when he announced all the movies, that was a big deal.
And then crypto, it's like when it comes to this film's entire, this by the time this comes out in July, it's going to be a 2-year journey of covering every single little thing that has come out about this film. Even now, the flying thing, that's been a big moment that everyone's been talking about. So whether or not it's been good chatter or bad chatter, people are still talking about it. And we saw the same track record with Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's been across the board with the biggest films that we've seen come to fruition with the genre.
Okay. Yeah, let's go through it. What movies, so you said Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
What other movies, they could be superhero or not, have been an experience like that? Anything else? Because all 4 of those did well, correct?
Massive numbers.
Massive
Billions.
Billions.
Between the 4 of them that you just named.
And it's like with
it's like a combined $8 billion.
Yeah, with Deadpool and Wolverine, we can point to like the Hugh announcement video in that like house set where Ryan announces that Hugh's coming back. Like everything a part of that movie was so dissected, and now we're seeing the same thing done with Superman. I mean, if we point to other CBMs coming out this year, we haven't gotten this experience with Falcon and with Captain America: Brave New World.
No.
With Thunderbolts. With
Fantastic Four.
Even with
it's a little
Fantastic
bit more
Four.
with Fantastic Four, but it's nowhere near.
I mean, the Fantastic Four has just been kept so under wraps, and they've been so silent about that film.
Like, they gave us the theme. Okay.
But they have given us the theme a couple times.
What about, a lot of people didn't like it, but Multiverse of Madness was somewhat of an experience. It did well.
But okay, so no. Multiverse of Madness didn't have nearly this. The first look we had at Multiverse of Madness was the second end credit scene of No Way Home. That was the first look we got of it. That was in December. The movie came out in what, March?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's as
May.
much, but like, in terms of, but it did well, no?
It did well because it was off the back of No Way Home, but it
this
didn't make
is
$1
fair.
billion because it wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, and people weren't following like, all right, they started filming
No.
Multiverse of
I don't think
Madness today.
it reaches the other four that we said, but I'm just saying I think Multiverse of Madness did better, made more money than it should have based on the quality of the movie. And I think
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because you
of-
don't think it's because of No Way Home?
Yeah,
I think that's somewhat of it. But it was also, you remember when people were like thinking that was Tom Cruise as Captain Marvel or whatever the frick? Like, there was some experience there.
Yeah. So even that movie, which is not good,
Made a lot.
made $900 million.
Yeah.
More than your
Dude, if
estimate
Superman,
for Superman.
doesn't make 800 to $1 billion, we're cooked.
We're hitting $1 billion. We're hitting $1 billion.
See, I convinced you.
We're hitting $1 billion.
I was just about to say,
I think it's gonna hit $1 billion, but at worst, 800 mil.
So that's the bare minimum. That's the baseline.
Yeah, that's like the bare minimum. We're hitting $1 billion though.
What's
We're carrying this.
yeah
Shit.
yeah. Well, the three of us will get it to 800 million,
Dude,
The Supes event alone, you know.
bro, I like,
We're gonna fill that theater.
bro, I'm going in debt over this movie. We're hitting $1 billion. More crypto.
Oh my gosh, crypto's gonna carry hard.
You know who they gotta show? They gotta show Chip, the Green Lantern squirrel.
Oh yeah.
You show that guy. You got all the pets in there.
Here's another thing. I don't know if I want it. Maybe this is just me because I like this actor so much. In the next trailer, I'd love to see Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
I want to see Jimmy so bad. I love that actor. I think he's such a great cast.
Because Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes, and I feel he's so good at being quirky, awkward, funny, which is perfect for Jimmy. If we get some more like actual dialogue and some more actual scenes in the next trailer of like maybe Clark in the Daily Planet, I would love to see Jimmy a little bit more. I hope he's in the movie like a good amount. Like he's a good friend. Give him the watch.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Give him the watch, dude.
Please. Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of that in the next trailer, like more of Clark's like personal life and more of Clark's personal journey on this movie. And Jimmy is obviously a massive part of that. He's his little sidekick, and I would love to see moments of just Clark and Jimmy going on adventures together, almost competing against Lois Lane because she's the top reporter that everyone is competing against.
He obviously wasn't in Man of Steel, really. Was he in the Christopher Reeves movies, even?
Yeah, he
Jimmy
was.
Olsen's
Was he?
main character in the
Oh,
Christopher
interesting.
Reeves movies.
I can't.
He's
picture
in
it.
Batman v Superman. Turns out he works for the FBI or CIA or something, and they
Oh, but
shoot
of
him in
course.
the opening scene.
Oh my gosh.
Not
Exhausting.
our-
Exhausting what we went through. You know what I mean? I
our
can't
best
believe we had to
days.
deal with this.
I would love, if that's okay with y'all, I know you and I's opinion has not changed. I would love to revisit our conversation the last time Matt was on the podcast, where we had the earth-shattering conversation, which was what has more pressure, Superman, Infinity War, or Endgame? You fought us on that. Do you now think it's Superman?
No.
Oh, Andrew, you still think it's Infinity War or Endgame?
I think it's unbelievably close. The only argument, and we said this last time, the argument is for Superman, it has a whole future thing riding on it, and the argument for the Avengers is it has a whole past thing riding on it. I think, which is fair. It's whichever one you think is more important. But coming off the backs of DC movies that have already sucked for the past 10 years, and then another DC movie sucking, yes, it will nuke the rest of the potential DCU, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But like, I think in terms of disappointment, I think people would have been more disappointed if they went on a journey for 13 years with the MCU and all these things connecting, just to see a terrible Iron Man Avengers movie that they end this story badly. And I think that had a lot riding on it.
Can you rank them on pressure? Because I think we decided last time, I think you and I believe that Infinity War had the least amount of pressure. Because if it wasn't good, we would have just moved on. They would have doubled down on Endgame and made Endgame as good as possible, or moved Endgame or something. We had bad MCU movies. Even the events. Age of Ultron was not the critical reception that Avengers 1 was. You know what I'm saying? They would have moved past if Infinity War was bad. I think Infinity War had the least amount of pressure. Endgame had the more pressure because Infinity War was so great.
Correct.
You can't follow that up.
Sure.
But I still think Endgame has less pressure than Superman does.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that argument. I'm not mad at all.
How would you rank them? Do you think Superman is third place? Or do you think Superman has
I'll give it second.
second? And do you agree with us that Infinity War had the least?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not saying Infinity War didn't have pressure.
No, they all have a
they all
tremendous
have-
pressure.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're the
tremendous.
top three.
Yeah, they're far and
I
away
will
the
say-
top.
Round out the Mount Rushmore is 4 No Way Home.
I would say so.
for
I would say
pressure?
so
Yeah.
just because, again, like we talked about, it was a 2-year journey of theories. And bro, if Toby and Andrew were not in that movie, oh my god,
It's crazy because it happened.
Yeah.
It did happen. But can you imagine if they weren't in that movie?
I remember some people got out at the premiere. I don't know who I texted. I knew someone at the premiere. And I didn't want any spoilers or anything. And I just texted them and I was like, give me something. And they were just like, it's perfect. And that's all they said. And I was like,
we
lock
knew.
in.
We all knew. Like, that was the worst kept secret in movie history.
On purpose.
But exactly, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if they weren't in that?
dude, society would have collapsed.
Yeah.
Like actually, like oh my.
I will also say this. I think the pressure for Superman is only increasing. I think with every day that goes by, I think it does increase. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Shall we move on? We've spent 46 minutes talking about one
Superman.
movie.
Yeah.
Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
What did you think of Creature Commandos?
I thought Creature Commandos was good. However, I was kind of disappointed in the idea that it is like an appetizer, which is exactly how James Gunn described it. It's exactly what it felt like, a little appetizer of what's to come with the DCU. However, to me, Peacemaker didn't feel like an appetizer. It felt like one of the best superhero shows we've ever gotten, and it was its own thing that really fulfilled you from beginning to end on a week-to-week basis, whereas Creature Commandos was more like just snackable 20-minute episodes every single week, and by the end of it, there were just a few storylines that really got their time to shine, but for the most part, it was kind of just like, all right, every single week is just a new character's heartbreaking backstory, instead of like an interwoven journey week to week. With Peacemaker, every single episode you can watch it and it stands on its own. Same thing with shows like Daredevil and The Penguin. Whereas with Creature Commandos, it was kind of like, all right, this week is this character's backstory, this character's backstory, and by the end of it, it just came home in a way that felt a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I kind of wish it was bigger than it was.
I'll give you the repetitiveness. He feels that the ending's anticlimactic. I disagree.
It's a little
I
rushed.
disagree with what you just said. I think that Creature Commandos is clearly better than Peacemaker.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I disagree heavily.
I think, definitely better.
I still like Creature Commandos. I just don't think it's nearly as
I
good.
think
I liked Peacemaker.
Me too.
I borderline loved Creature Commandos.
I think Peacemaker's a little overrated. I don't think Creature Commandos is.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just totally disagree.
But I'm still excited for season 2 of both.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited for both season 2s.
Exactly. Like I feel like Creature Commandos is one of those shows that you can just keep going forever and ever. And they obviously teased a new team that's being assembled in the finale. So I'm definitely more excited to see what they do in season 3, especially since, you know, this and this is why I cut Creature Commandos some slack, because it was like a show that was written before the DCU was ever a thing. Like James Gunn was done writing this show before he was the CEO of DC.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
And so he obviously tweaked some things here and there to fit like what they're trying to set up with the greater universe. But now with season 2, I'm sure there's going to be way more things that are more interconnected to the overall interconnectivity of the universe and where the story is heading. And he's hinted that like Superman, the events of Superman are going to impact Peacemaker season 2. And same thing with Supergirl and Lanterns, and it's all going to kind of just stack onto each other. So I'm a lot more excited, and that's why I cut Creature Commando season 1 some slack, but still overall really enjoyed it. It just I wish it felt more like a meal than an appetizer.
So we're just talking about Creature Commandos. You think it was a little bit of an appetizer, not a meal. Let's move on to a meal. Penguin. 10 out of 10?
Easily 10 out of 10. The second greatest comic book show of all time, right behind Daredevil.
Oh,
Fascinating.
you
Live
give
action
us-
or animated?
But no, I gotta be careful.
You have to be careful.
Now I'm thinking of, I think X-Men 97, bro.
X-Men
It's
97's
up
great.
there.
You're missing a big one.
Invincible,
There you go.
obviously.
what about Batman?
I think the Penguin is better than Invincible so far.
Fuck no.
So far?
There's no. I love the Penguin season
So
1. I
far?
love it. It's not better than Invincible season
dude,
1. Season 2 brings Invincible down slightly, but like there's no universe that season 1 of Invincible isn't better than season 1 of Penguin.
Oh, I think season 1 of Penguin is better than season 1 of Invincible.
No.
Can you give us a top 5 superhero shows?
Okay.
Off the dome?
Off the dome, I'm gonna
No
do.
order or order?
Try and order it.
I'll try and order it. So I'm gonna say number 5 Wait, hold up.
Is Batman the animated series? Are we counting?
That's my number one.
Oh, okay. So we're counting like all animated shows.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
That would be tough.
That's really hard.
Just whatever pops in your
Okay.
head.
In no specific order. This is just
Sure. We'll try and rank it
top
out.
5. The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
The Boys.
Yep. Good.
Invincible. The Penguin. Daredevil. Actually, I'm gonna kick out Spectacular and I'm gonna put X-Men 97.
Good.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But that's
Yeah.
all in the top 10. Yeah. That's.
I mean, yeah, all of that's. I mean, yeah, it's just hard because we've gotten so many great superhero shows.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. What else?
I'd almost be willing to argue that we've gotten more goated superhero shows than we have films. Like, you take the 10 best superhero shows of all time and compare them to the 10 best superhero films.
Whoa. We're gonna do that on the Patreon. We're gonna rank. We're gonna list superhero shows, and then we're gonna compare them to movies.
And we will try and be objective, even if I don't like Loki season 2, everybody else does. So we'll include Loki.
Well, we can all do
Yeah,
our
but
individuals.
even Loki, like, as great as Loki is, even that is debatable in the top 10.
Yep, that's crazy.
Which is crazy to say.
That's crazy. That's wild. But sticking with the Penguin, Penguin was excellent. Do you think the Penguin made the Batman better?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, yeah.
No, I
It made the Batman a lot better for me.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
I thought the Batman was a 7 out of 10. And then I loved the Penguin so much that I rewatched Batman, and now I give Batman a 9 out of 10. It improved the watch so much for me.
You know, I do wish though. I really wish they kept that deleted scene of Oz, talking about how he's gonna how this is gonna be
Carmine
his one day.
Falcone ain't gonna be around forever, honey.
Yes!
It's so good. It's like so. It's just that scene and the Barry Keoghan Joker scene. I wish they kept both.
See, I'm not too mad about the Barry Keoghan Joker
Why?
scene. I would have loved to have seen that in the film.
Yep.
But it just, they took it out and it wasn't necessary. It just would have been cool to see. But it wasn't necessary.
But it fills in. The reason that the Penguin, I think, makes the Batman better is because it fills in the world so much. That fills in the world so much. And look, I'll give that to you. You don't have to have it in the movie. And I understand why you took it out, because he calls it. The first minute, he's like, maybe he's just a fan of yours. But he says it sarcastically. First of all, perfect Joker. That's like perfect. Like, mwah. But, like, think about it like this. How many scenes in your favorite superhero movies could you take out for plot reasons? But there's great moments that make a movie better just because. The Darth Vader scene is not needed in Rogue One, but it is the best scene in the movie. It's absolutely narratively not needed. But it's the same thing with how I feel about the Barry Keoghan Joker scene. Sure, you needed to cut it for time. It reveals the plot too early, whatever. But it is like, it probably would be my favorite scene in the movie. And you're right, it would have enhanced the theater experience, and maybe I would have liked the movie then more. That's my argument against that.
See, here's where I kind of disagree, because I feel like that scene was too good in a way where it's like, if we see that, the entire rest of the film, we're going to be thinking, can we go back to Joker?
Yeah, you're distracted by Joker, yeah.
Can we go back to Joker? Like, because when you watch that scene, you're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see an entire movie with these two going back and forth.
Yeah.
So to have that just like in the middle of like the first act, I think it would have been too much.
Too distracting.
Good point. Supes is cooking on this episode.
What do you think?
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the Joker deleted scene? No! Whoa! We'll watch that on the Patreon. That's
Holy
crazy.
cow,
I can't believe you haven't seen it. It's so good.
I might have seen it like once on like social media or something, but I've never sat down and like watched it.
He's hideous. He's hard to look at.
Yeah. They got to redesign him, bro.
You think?
Yeah, I think
so.
so.
I like it though.
I like the messed up look. It's just like too extreme. Like to look at that face for a whole movie is tough.
No, that's fair. And something that Andrew is notoriously, my co-host is notoriously pro delays. He thinks take your time, take as long as you want to make a movie good.
I am pro making a movie good. I am not pro delays.
Even Andrew has admitted it's a long time before the Batman Part 2.
Dude, it was just so out of nowhere and so drastic. Like a 3-month delay, okay. A 6-month delay, pushing it. A year? And
This late in the game.
dude, my issue isn't necessarily the delay itself. It's the fact that a week prior, Matt Reeves was like super happily talking about how they're getting ready to shoot. You know, everything's going great. He's finishing up the script, like everything's on schedule. And then a few days later, we hear it's delayed another year after it was already delayed another year. And as fans, these are obviously like great problems to have because we still know the movie's going to be great. It's just tough. And we say this out of like anxious anticipation that we're going to have to wait longer.
Yeah. Yeah. What he's talking about is like, I'm normally always in favor of like, whenever things get delayed, again, like you said, like we're talking about like the color and everything for Superman, everyone's nitpicking it and freaking out. I'm just like, wait and see. So, people do it with the delays too. As soon as anything is delayed, like a month or whatever, people are like, oh my gosh, number one, it's going to suck. And number two, we have to wait so long. I can't wait any longer. I'm always on the train of like, if you need to delay it a little bit, I'd rather you delay it and make the movie good so that it's cemented in history for all of time. Like you had to wait an extra 6 months, but now we have a movie that's infinitely better that I can go back and watch. I'd rather wait 6 months and get a good movie than you force it and it not be good. But in this case, you're being a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years is a lot. I mean, especially when you compare it to, you know, again, the conversation always kind of comes back to like, how long do we need to wait in order to get something that's peak? But at the same time, like, Denis Villeneuve is about to make an entire Dune trilogy within the same time frame.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely possible.
As Batman 1 and 2, and the Dune films are fantastic.
And the worst possible scenario here is you delay it 2 years and then you give us crap. In that case, frick you.
No, I think now that it's been delayed by a year twice, this needs to be one of the greatest superhero films of all time, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Is this movie entering the Mount Rushmore of pressure?
It might.
No.
No?
It might, bro. It actually might.
It doesn't touch the four that we've mentioned. Not even
It doesn't
close.
touch. It doesn't touch the four that we've mentioned. But
Could it be fifth?
dude, like this needs.
I don't
It
even
needs to
think
be
it's
at the
fifth.
very least. It needs to be infinitely better than the first movie. At the very least.
think?
Infinitely?
Yes.
I don't know, infinitely. But it needs to be
I would
on
like
par.
it to be infinitely better than the
Yes.
first
No.
one.
No. I think it has to, bro.
I trust Matt Reeves
if
because
it
his
comes-
second movie.
Dude, if it comes out, we've waited 5 years for this movie, and it's worse than the first movie.
5 years is crazy.
It is. It's crazy.
5 years is whack.
Robert Pattinson's going to be 60 playing Batman.
dude.
Dude,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
we've waited this long, and it's gonna be worse than the first movie. That is a catastrophic
The
failure.
Penguin was so good.
And that's the thing, bro, is that the Penguin, you follow up the first Batman, which everyone, you know, a lot of people loved. It was generally loved across the board. And then the Penguin is one of the greatest superhero shows ever that is unanimously loved and leads straight into the Batman Part 2. You have to deliver.
Oh, imagine the hype. This is back to like the Invincible conversation where there's a break and they took so long and the hype died out. That might happen for the Batman. The Batman, we waited so long and the Penguin was good. I don't think a lot of people were as hyped as they would have been if the Penguin came out closer to the Batman. But the Penguin's so good, the hype is here again. But now we got to wait another 2 years for Batman to come out. It might die back down.
No, see, I disagree with that.
really?
The Invincible situation was a lot different than this.
Why?
Because the Invincible situation happened mid-season. You know, it was a mid-season wait.
I mean, yeah, it's a movie, so like you
and people could see through the like, oh, they're just trying to like, you know, I guess split up the season so like that they get more ratings and it builds over time. Whereas with this, you know, again, the Batman Part 2, I guarantee you is going to have that Superman No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine kind of experience.
once the
where
marketing starts, yeah.
it's going to be an entire 2-year journey. I mean, from the moment they start shooting, from the set photos to everything, all of that is going to build. And if anything, the anticipation is going to be higher now than ever before, just because there's even more pressure now that it's gotten delayed multiple times.
We'll see.
We will.
But just imagine the Penguin came out last year and then we get Batman Part 2 this year. I think people would...
Or next year. Next year, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
it was
but-
supposed
but
to be 2026.
Just imagine, you finish the Penguin and you're like, in 6
dude.
months we get to see
You see the freaking the
bat symbol.
the bat symbol, and then you get to see the movie 6 months later.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
you're right. You're right.
all I'm saying.
You're right. And we know nothing. We don't know villains. We don't know casting. We don't know anything. On to the shortest bracket in the history of this podcast.
Oh my gosh, we're doing a whole bracket.
yes,
Okay.
we are. It's only 16 seats.
Okay, here we go.
These are all the upcoming DC projects.
Is Superman on here?
It's the number one seed.
Okay, well that's gonna win.
I expect it to. We'll see how everything
Let's
shakes
just see
out.
what's in the finals with it.
Round one, we've got Superman or the Waller TV show.
Yeah, let me think.
I'm not excited for Waller though.
That's
it could
animated?
be interesting. I think
No,
it's live action.
It's live action.
Is it the woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that voices
Viola,
her?
it's Viola
Viola
Davis.
Davis.
Is she the one that voices her always?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's the one from the Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wow.
Oscar-winning actress.
I just
Viola
love the
Davis.
fact that ever since like Justice League Unlimited, it's just been her, right?
Yes.
I love that. Like we've never gotten Amanda Waller that's not her.
Because she's so good.
She's so good.
Angela Bassett played Amanda Waller in the Green Lantern film in 2011.
Ooh.
Really?
Angela Bassett.
I don't even remember that. I have
She's
kind of
in
blocked
that?
that movie out of my mind.
Yeah.
We should watch that. Okay. Anyways, Superman.
Creature Commando Season 2. Or the Booster Gold TV show.
Oh, Booster.
I think so, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Booster's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
He is, but can he carry a whole show? We'll see.
Yes, easily.
I think so. He's such a James Gunn guy.
Yeah.
I mean, true.
You know-
but is James Gunn writing it and directing it?
I mean, he's doing something with it. This is his universe. We've got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or the Clayface movie.
Supergirl.
Me too.
Easily.
Because of Jason Momoa as Lobo. But is it Clayface or Swamp Thing the one that Flanagan's attached to?
Flanagan is doing Clayface. And then Mangold is doing Swamp.
Clayface sounds interesting.
You
No,
know,
Clayface-
you know who Flanagan is? Haunting of Hill House. Clayface. Can we go Clayface? Are you and I gonna go Clayface here? I'm excited for. I just haven't seen House of the Dragon, so I don't know Mia Alcock.
Oh, Millie Alcock?
Millie, I don't know her, right? I'm excited for Jason Momoa's Lobo, and I'm sure she'll be great. And everybody says she's great in House of the Dragon and everything, but I just don't know her.
I mean, for me, what excites me about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is that the story is already out there, and it's entirely based off of the Woman of Tomorrow comic.
Yeah, the book.
And that book is just so fantastic, and this is going to be one of those films that stands out amongst the rest, even above the other DCU projects. An entire like psychedelic sci-fi experience that is entirely set in outer space. It's going to be very, I think, very Star Wars like in a way.
But it's going to be very sad. That's a sad book.
Yeah, which entices, like, that excites me even more because you have the drop off from Superman, which is this very go happy feel good film.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have Supergirl, which is much more darker and grittier and still in the same vein. And there's obviously going to be similarities, but it's just a different experience. And I'm really, really excited. I'm high on Supergirl.
What are you going? Has he convinced you, or you're still going Clayface?
Yeah, I mean Supergirl just because she's a bigger character. But yeah,
You know what really excites me about Clayface?
I'm going Clayface.
I'm gonna go Clayface.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited at the possibility of us getting a Clayface movie where Batman is an antagonistic figure and we're not seeing the story from his perspective.
I'm gonna come.
Dude, literally, I wanted to see that. Like, I think it was Assault on Arkham.
Because it's Flanagan, so it's gonna be a horror tragedy.
Yeah,
That's
well,
super
I
grounded.
like a body horror, like this guy going through something terrible.
That's gonna be
We've
awesome.
never seen Clayface on screen before. Like we have a Supergirl show. Like yeah, I'm going Clayface.
Yeah. The Authority, or this is my number 2 on here, Lanterns.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
Lanterns. Dude, Lanterns has been the most mismanaged DC
Yes.
property
Yes.
for the last 20
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Easily,
And when he
bro.
was like, it's gonna be True Detective, I was like, oh my gosh.
And we just got the Sinestro casting because
Yep.
that was one of my biggest fears after they announced the True Detective thing was that it was going to be too much set on Earth and we wouldn't get the elements of the other Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
But now that Sinestro has been cast and it's announced that he's going to be a series regular, like that really, really excites me, bro.
I love Aaron Pierre.
Oh my, that guy is a superstar, bro. Like, I watched Rebel Ridge after he was cast as Jon Stewart.
I heard he was great.
Oh, he's fantastic in Rebel Ridge, but oh my God, honestly, this might be a hot take. That is probably my most anticipated DCU casting to see come to life, even over David Cornsweet as Superman.
Whoa.
Wow.
That might be a hot take. Like I know David is gonna be great as Superman, but like Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart, man, like he
I do
just
love that
brings
character. Yeah.
so much sauce.
Here's 2 projects that I feel like should be bigger deals, but I don't see anybody talking about them just because they're so in the future. We've got the Teen Titans live action movie, or we've got the Bane Deathstroke movie.
What the?
You didn't know that either.
No. What the? Frick?
Yeah.
Bane versus Deathstroke.
No, they're and Deathstroke.
Yeah, Bane
The
and
boys.
Deathstroke. And there might be other villains in it, but it's gonna be like primarily about Bane and Deathstroke.
And it's a live action movie.
These are both live action movies.
That's. I don't want to do that. I want them both so bad, dude.
Teen Titans, bro. I mean, growing up with that cartoon and then seeing that same lineup in live action, bro.
I'm so traumatized from Titans.
Yeah, Titans was
Interesting.
so bad.
Like, I almost don't want it. Like, I don't trust them.
Well, it's like they gotta cleanse the palate. You know, they gotta cleanse the palate in live
Just
action.
imagine-
Also, the same girl who wrote Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is writing the Teen Titans movie, and James Gunn is very high on her. So for them to like trust her with that property, it's just a sign of confidence that Supergirl's gonna be amazing. But Teen Titans is there.
Take both of those ideas and give them both a 9 out of 10. Which one do you want more?
Teen Titans, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
okay.
do Teen Titans.
That was an excellent way of determining that debate, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Good call.
Thank you. You want to clink me?
I do. That was nice, Andrew. Swamp Thing movie.
Okay.
Batman, the Brave and the Bold.
Batman.
Brave and the Bold easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just full Bat family already existing. It'll be the first full movie with a DCU Batman. Thank God for Creature Commandos for confirming it's not Pattinson.
dude.
That scene was perfect. You will give me that.
Perfect.
The Batman scene in Creature Commandos.
Yeah, that was actually perfect.
Perfect. The Dynamic Duo movie, do you know what that is?
Nope.
Animated. Jason Todd, Nightwing.
Oh, whoa.
Origin story.
Yeah. Or the Paradise Lost TV show, which is Themyscira
Yeah.
pre-Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I'm interested because it's going to be like the politics of Themyscira.
And they
Yeah.
compared it to Game of Thrones.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go that one.
You're going to go Paradise Lost?
Yeah.
Over Nightwing and... All right. I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, no, I'm going
Good.
Dynamic Duo just because Jason Todd and Dick Grayson are
Oh,
some
great.
of my favorite characters
Great.
in all the
Then
comics.
we're doing Dynamic Duo.
That's fair.
But Paradise Lost sounds good.
Yeah.
When they described it with like the politics, and that sounds really interesting, the politics of an all-woman island. Peacemaker Season 2? Oh, you're going to be pissed. The Batman Part 2.
The Batman.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're just really excited for Peacemaker. It's out in the first round.
Not more excited than the Batman Part 2.
I know, but it sucks because you would have taken Peacemaker Season 2 over a lot of those.
No, I wouldn't have.
Oh, okay, great.
Like, I'm hyped for Peacemaker Season 2, but I'm also
great,
a lot
great.
more excited for a lot of the other DC
Okay,
projects.
great. Superman, Booster Gold. Superman,
Superman.
obviously. Clayface movie, or Lanterns.
Lanterns.
Teen Titans movie, or Batman the Brave and the Bold. That's interesting.
Oh, we're getting hot now.
If they're both 9 out of 10s, I probably still pick Teen Titans, but I expect Batman to be better.
Also, Batman's more important. This is the first.
Is he?
Yes, he freaking is.
But the Teen Titan, we've got a lot of good Batmans. Buddy.
That's what I'm saying.
That-
We
yeah,
already
yeah,
have
we've-
great.
that's- I
we
mean,
have
we
an
already have-
ongoing great Batman.
Yeah, but this is the first one in his universe. So I think it's very important. But yeah, no, that is a good point. I mean, there's another Batman movie on this list.
But what if this Batman is like peak prep time Justice League Batman? And his movies don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? And he's the guy that's telling Darkseid his computer password in the secret language. Like, what if that's the DCU Batman?
Are you trying to sell me on the Batman movie right now?
No, what I'm telling you is that his solo movie may not be as important.
What? Because he's the guy that can take down Darkseid?
Because
what kind of argument is this?
If he's the GOAT, then he'll be great in the Justice League movies.
We don't want to
no
see a
matter
movie
what.
about the GOAT. What the? This is a terrible
I'm kind of
argument.
selling myself. I'll go Batman the Brave and the Bold.
I mean, we all love the Teen Titans so much, and we've all wanted them on the big screen for so long. So I'm
Done
fine.
well.
Done well. So I'm fine with either.
No, I'm going Batman.
I'm gonna go Batman just because the Bat family, dude. Like
Yeah.
They're all going to be around.
Exactly. If you tell me what would you rather see right now, either the Bat family or the Teen Titans, I'm saying the Bat family.
Imagine like an Avengers Age of Ultron opening sequence where they're all like working
Oh,
together. But it's like
my
Nightwing and Batgirl. And they all like jump through a friggin' thing. Yeah, dude.
Excellent. That's the best thing you've said this year.
Just imagine. Oh. And they all launch out of the Batmobile and they're like,
Oh, because it's going to come after Dynamic Duo?
No, actually, what if that's like the ending of the Bane and Deathstroke movie, where there's other Batman villains as well, and then they're going up against the Bat family.
cooking. James Gunn, call us.
Dynamic Duo movie, Batman Part 2. Batman Part 2.
Batman Part
Yeah.
2.
I think I know what the finals is going to be. Superman Lanterns.
Superman.
I'm super excited for Lanterns, but it's Superman.
Superman.
And then Brave and the Bold or the Batman Part 2. I'm going Batman Part 2. But your pitch just sold you on Batman Brave and the Bold.
I'm going Batman Part 2 just because I trust Matt Reeves more than I trust Andy Muschietti.
I definitely agree with that. And then the finals is the rightfully finals, Superman or the Batman Part 2.
And Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing beats Superman, bro.
And there it is. That's
There
our
it
bracket.
is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on our DC.
Thank you so much. And if you guys liked this episode, we're going to be doing a full episode talking about a lot more stuff on the Patreon with Supes. So thank you so much for checking out.
To Superman.
To Superman, July 11th, 2025.
Yes, sir.